Hello, and a very warm welcome back to Widowed AF. I'm Rosie Moss, I'm your host, and I'm always here. Joining me today, I have got LA based comedian Sam Morrison. Sam is here to talk about the loss of his partner Jonathan back in 2021, but also about an incredible comedy show that he's doing called Sugar Daddy. So I'm not going to talk too much about his show. I'm going to let him do that. So a very warm welcome to the podcast, Sam. Great to have you here.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
You're doing all right for yourself,
Yeah,
aren't you?
well, we'll
I
see.
mean, I'm looking at some of the places you've been. The Drew Barrymore show, the Edinburgh Fringe. You've been off Broadway. This is incredible stuff.
We're
Don't be
trying.
bashful.
We're
Don't be
doing what we
bashful.
can.
You
Okay,
are.
I'm
Yeah, that's
amazing.
it. You own it.
You are lucky.
Where are you
You,
parked up in a hotel somewhere in London at the moment?
yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. I'm in
Oh,
Bermondsey,
okay. Okay.
which I've been calling Bermondsey, which I
I
think is
think so.
fun, and people don't
Yeah.
like that.
Well, you know,
But that sounds very sort of camp to me. I want to live in
Bermondsey. Yeah, that
Bermondsey. I
sounds
don't want
quite
to
fancy.
Bermondsey.
And so are you
Yeah,
over here
Bermondsey
prepping
sounds
for your
like.
show? Because your show starts pretty soon, doesn't it?
Yes, I just got out of rehearsals. The show um, opens March 5th, or that's when previews start, and then it opens March 10th. I hope I got those right.
Well, I
I
can
think I did.
confirm I bought 2 tickets today for March 20th, so I expect a special little wave in the audience, please.
All right. Well, you guys, you know where to find Rosie. Go find her. Go attack her.
Oh,
March 20th.
hang on a minute. Is there an
Wait
audience
outside.
participation? Because I might move my tickets to a bit further back.
There is
Okay,
zero
that's
audience
fine. That's fine.
participation. It is the best part of the show. You can know I will not. Well, I guess if something happens, like I might. It's happened before where like something happens weird in the show
You're
that
gonna
I
ad
like
lib a
have
little
to
bit.
address, and so I end up going off script. Yeah.
And your show, it's at the Underbelly, and I booked my tickets, and I didn't do it to suck up to you because I was talking to you tonight. I did it because I was doing some research and I watched a couple of your clips on YouTube. And like, you're funny and you've turned something incredibly sad into something funny. And I really admire that in a person.
Thank you. It's not. I don't. I really. I didn't like. I'm just a comedian, and this happened
Yeah.
to me, and so it doesn't feel like I set out. Do this sort
So,
of
Sam, would you,
great.
if you wouldn't mind, telling me a little bit about, what brought you into this shitty club that we're a part of, the Widowed Club, and tell me a little bit about
Yeah,
Jonathan, how you guys met, what kind of a guy he was as well.
yeah. I was with Jonathan was my boyfriend for about 2.5 years, um, and uh, we met in Provincetown, Massachusetts. If there are any gays listening, they'll know that's P-Town. That's if you don't know P-Town, it's like Fire Island, but for sort of older, artsier
Okay.
gays. And if you don't know Fire Island, then well, girl, we don't have time.
Another podcast, right?
But yes, it was another podcast. Another podcast. Yeah, so we met in P-Town at this gay bear festival called Spooky Bear. He wasn't even there for Spooky Bear, but I was there. I think I was doing a show. Yes, I was doing a show. And I just sort of ran into him at 2 a.m. at a pizza shop, and we hooked up, and we were like, oh, we're both from New York. And we're like, okay, we'll hang out back in New York City. And then I was like, I think what really helped was like I didn't know he was super interested at first. And so I was like texting him, and like he didn't respond at first. And of
Oh, of
course,
course. Yeah, you want what you
when you're
can't
like
have, right?
20, that's it. Especially when you're like insecure
Of
and
course.
25 and then
Or
someone doesn't
insecure in
respond, you're
45.
like, yeah. Yeah. And I've totally grown
Of
out of
course.
that
Yeah.
now.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah, me
So
too.
that's no longer an issue. Yeah, yeah. Um, but he was just very busy traveling. But I was like, he doesn't like me. I'm not good enough for him. And so when he responded, I was like, yes, let's hang out. And then we did our first date, and it was like it lasted the whole
Amazing.
weekend, which I had never
No, you
done
hear about
before.
people having these
Oh,
dates,
well,
these 48-hour dates, and you think, really? Are you not sick of the person after a couple of hours?
yes, it felt
Yeah.
insane. And it felt insane even while I was doing it. He was like, "Do you want to get breakfast the next morning?" And I was like,
I think
"Yes."
so.
What did I just say? I was like, I like everything in my body is like,
Yeah, yeah,
run.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, I would like to. Yes. Um, yeah, I mean,
And
that's,
he was quite a bit older than you, wasn't
it's hard.
he?
Yeah,
How
yeah, yeah,
old?
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
that's your type, right? You
That's
like an older
my,
guy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I've always been into older guys. My boyfriend now is my age, which when I say that to people, they're like, "Yeah, what is happening?" Because the brand is daddies. I'm into daddy bears.
Okay, for
Um,
the
yeah.
uninitiated
Well, he's not a
or the
twink, so
straight
don't
people
worry.
out there,
Yeah, yeah,
what's
yeah.
a daddy
Bears. I
bear?
know.
Describe a daddy bear to me.
Daddy bear. Right, right. Daddy bear. A big girl. A bear is a big girl with hair, belly. And it also can sometimes mean like
Kind of
rugged and more
protective as well?
masculine. I don't
No?
know. I don't maybe. You mean like mama bear
Maybe, or
kind of
like a
thing?
big guy that can take care of you, that look, big enough to kind of protect you if you're out in the wild. Am I just describing the man I want?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes. Yeah, someone to protect you when you're out in the wild. And I am out in the wild
Yeah.
a lot. I am just sort of running through forests alone, just as like a sort of helpless twink
Looking for
looking
a
for a
daddy
daddy
bear.
bear. So I need that. Yeah. So you nailed it. Yeah, yeah. It's like a niche of the gay community, and they all have like events at gay bars, and then every once in a while they'll have like a big festival in P Town, and
Pick a
you can
bear.
go and pick a
Amazing.
bear. They built pick a bear workshop.
Amazing. Do they do this for straight ladies as well?
Uh, I
But they
don't
should.
know what it's called, but like every time I do jokes about being attracted to like bellies, every single kind of person of all sexual orientations and genders comes up to me and it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I also.
And that's
And
part
I'm
of
like,
your
yeah,
routine as well, isn't it? About the attraction to more well-padded people rather than, real skin and bone.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yep. I talk about that. I talk about that in the comedy clubs too. And so it's just so much more popular, I think, than people
And
realize.
so you're together for 2.5 years. I'm guessing this was a really, exciting, wonderful, romantic time, really happy together. I'm really kind of hypothesizing here, but I'm making some assumptions. And then what happened? What brought you into the club?
Oh, he passed away from COVID in
Okay.
2021. Uh, yeah.
So that must have been incredibly, incredibly scary because it's at a time when, there's very little in way of. Actually, I'm thinking 2021. Were we still in lockdown then? Were you still in lockdown in America?
Yeah, it was like a couple weeks before the
Okay.
vaccines came
Oh gosh. And had he been sick for a long time leading up to it, or was it quite sudden?
out. No, he just got COVID, and then a couple weeks later, he was on a
Shit.
ventilator.
So I don't know whether you know this or not. You probably don't, but I did remarry myself. Not I didn't marry myself. I got married again, and my second husband, he actually got COVID very very badly in the March of the 2020, and was on a ventilator and in ITU for a month, and really really traumatic stuff. And he made it. He survived,
So traumatizing.
but it was pretty touch and go.
Oh my God.
You know,
Oh my God. You going through that again is
and
so awful.
yeah.
Oh, I'm so
It
sorry.
it was brutal,
That must have been so
and I
traumatizing.
just remember you feel even though the news is spewing out information about these figures of people, and you still feel so completely afraid and alone, and like you're the only person this is happening to, and completely out of control. So I kind of wanted to just extend my deepest condolences really, because it's there is no good way
Me
to lose
too.
a person, but during a global pandemic, that's a fairly shit time. And to happen so
Yeah,
close to
it
vaccination
was,
as
yeah.
well, that's really tough. How did you find, and I know this is a bit of a loaded question, the initial aftermath? Because you guys, you weren't married, you've been together a while, but not a sort of 10, 20-year relationship. How did you feel sort of represented in the widowed world?
Hmm. I don't think I've ever been asked that question. I have no idea. I mean, I didn't feel
Yeah.
represented at all, I
Nobody
think.
like you that
I
you
mean,
could
if I
sort of look
understand what
at and
you're
go, "Oh
asking,
god, that's happening to me," and actually there's nobody out
no.
there, and you were so young as well, you must have been
Well,
early 20s.
so Yeah, I was like 27. Yeah, when my first grief counselor, Taylor, I guess I won't say his full name. I'm on podcasts a lot more, like comedy podcasts, and anytime I like name a comedian, I'm like, this is Ashley Gavin at ASHGAVS. You got to go check. So that was my
You're going to do that for your
my
therapist.
grief counselor. He's so funny. Yeah. You got to go check him out. But yeah, he was, it was so lucky. It was the COVID Grief Network. And I signed up, I think, for like a group. And then I found out that they had like individual training somehow. And then they just like launched the program. So it was really free. And there was like just this guy that I matched with. And he was like a queer man in around my age who had lost his longtime girlfriend. And like it was the only person that I could talk to about it for like a long time, because it just felt like nobody got it, which I know is angsty sort of teenage thing
but
to
it's
say,
true.
but it really feels like that. Yeah. And those conversations were like really, really helpful.
And how did you kind of,
and it was sort of the first thing that felt like it helped.
how do you kind of identify? Would you have described yourself as a widow or a widower?
Now, I've never used the term widow. I prefer faggot, and you can cut that joke out.
No, I'm
if you
leaving
want.
that in.
No, I mean, I don't. I think just because he was my boyfriend, there's no like good way to say my boyfriend who died in a conversation, and so at a certain point, I figured out that you could sort of say late partner without people like without stopping the entire conversation.
And then really
to
quickly
explain
going
what
to your next
happened. So I would
sentence
do that
before they have time
sometime.
to kind of question you on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I found here is that people would
You're
come to me and
skilled.
say, I would like to talk to you, but I don't know if I'm a widow because we weren't married, or we were a same-sex partnership, or we'd maybe were on a break. And so I sort of use the word widow. I don't like widower either. I think widow, and it's, for me, it kind of means anybody whose romantic partner died. But it does conjure up this real image of like grey-haired old people and wearing black and the veil. And actually, if you were kind of funny and dark-humoured before, you're going to be afterwards, right? And that's what I missed was, I wanted somebody that I could make really inappropriate jokes with about my dead husband, and that they wouldn't look at me like I was a monster.
Really?
And so I found a network of friends who kind of shared the same dark humor in the widowed community. But I really, really felt there wasn't anybody like me initially. And I'm wondering how your experience kind of played into your particular brand of comedy. What did you used to do prior to this?
I'm so curious.
You can
Can I
ask me
ask
questions.
you
Gosh, you can.
questions?
Yeah, why not?
Can you tell me about like your sense of humor, where that comes from? And so you always had a
I
dark
think
sense of
I've
humor?
always had, quite a dark sense of humor. I mean, I'm not a total sicko or anything, but there's, I veer towards, slightly dark humor. And when somebody dies, I would say really inappropriate things, oh, my husband, you just
Really?
drop it on somebody, oh, well, he can't be here because he's dead, and they look at you and you think, oh shit, no, they weren't ready for that yet. Or, I can remember buying a Valentine's card for my second partner, and I'm looking in the cards and, there was just this wild, inappropriate card, and I'm laughing to myself and I go, oh, it's because my husband died. And the woman in the shop looked at me like I really was some sort of monster. And I thought, oh God, because it's quite isolating being a widow anyway. I think people don't know how to handle you anyway. And then you go and drop some clangers like that, and it's one way to stop people talking to you.
Yeah, I just like so relate to that, and so I don't know if that's everyone's experience. I mean, like I've also found that people who have been through it are like so some of the most dark people I know, is like the people who have been traumatized the most,
And actually, you said I read a quote, I did some research on you, and one of the things that you've, I think it was in a really glowing review in The Guardian, and a quote from you, and it says, you can't make sense of it, but you can make jokes of it. You're really cringing then. You didn't know what I was going to say, did you?
Anytime anyone says I found this quote in you, I just go, But
Well, that
that
was a
one
nice
wasn't so
one, right?
bad. I stand by that. Yeah, thank you
That's
for
right.
finding
I
a
do
decent one. Yeah,
do my job sometimes. And so, and I
I
really,
think like
but I got that, there's nothing I can do to make this better and make this more
yeah,
palatable and make this less hideous. But what I can do is find some humor in it. And, my podcast is called Widowed as Fuck because it was directed at people like me, people that, would describe
yeah.
themselves as not just widowed, but widowed as fuck, right? So I can really see why you did this, but I'd love to know, what started the ball rolling.
Well, I think part of the reason that I'm so curious about your sense of humor, and also I think the British sense of humor is a little bit darker at times. I mean, so is like a
Yeah,
New
yeah, yeah.
York sense of humor, so it's geographical, but is that like as a stand-up, you go to these open mics and like you hear the worst things imaginable, and you're in green rooms with comedians who are saying the worst things imaginable, and you're just like trained to, and you eventually you're just like numb to everything, and then your brain just like rewires to become a
Yeah.
sociopath. It's a beautiful art form, and so like uh, that's why I think have like just the tendency to make the most insane jokes possible, and like often have that experience where I'll be talking to people and then make an insane joke and they're like, "What the
Yeah, yeah,
fuck
yeah.
did you just say?" And I have to be like,
I'm
"Oh,
in polite company
right,
now, rein it in. Yeah.
I'm in society."
Do you think it's a coping
And
mechanism as well sometimes? Because it can, let's be honest, we're all trying to deflect our grief to a certain extent. And, it could be booze, drugs, sex, shopping, running, and it can be comedy. It can be making light of this terrible thing because it's a way of not having to face it.
yeah, I think that's what the show is about. Is like I deflect with humor. Like, is that good? I don't
I
know,
think it could be worse, right?
but I do. That
Could be
should be the
worse.
tagline. I dislike humor. It could be
That's your
worse.
next show. You're welcome. You can have that one on me.
That's my honey. My next show is about like duck
I'm sorry,
vaginas.
it's
It's
about
not
what?
duck
Literal
vaginas.
duck vaginas. The vagina.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's certainly not a metaphor. I, I just mean that next show is very much
Okay,
silly.
okay. I was thinking, I don't even know what one looks like.
No, but it literally is about duck vaginas. They're crazy. You got to check them
I
out.
don't,
Yeah, they're these spiral
I'm
vaginas,
sorry, I'm writing down
and then the
spiral
men have horse-shaped
vaginas,
penises.
ducks. If I
Yeah,
get
write
put
it
on
down.
some sort of
That's good.
list off the back of this, I'm blaming you.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's totally fine. And you are gonna be
Almost.
put
I'm
on a
probably already
list
on one.
of people that I'm gonna email to come to my show. Sorry, I'm just checking my blood sugar.
So talk to me about the birth of your baby, of your podcast. Baby was on purpose, podcast was an accident. Talk to me about the birth of your comedy show, Sugar Daddy. Tell me what I can expect when I come and see it. Tell me how you came to
Yeah.
formulate it.
Yeah. I mean, I think like on this podcast, I'll just say like I came to formulate it because like of course I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? Like I think usually I'll explain it a little more, but it's like this happened to me. And it's like literally all you're
Yeah.
thinking about. And if everything feels insane and you feel like you're in your own world and you don't feel like anyone understands. And like eventually I was like, I gotta go back out and do stand up again. And like,
Yeah.
what else was I gonna
Really
talk
hard to
about?
pull out some
Like,
comedy from something else because you're completely consumed with your grief.
yeah, yeah. And so you just start bombing with grief material.
And what were people's reactions like?
'Cause
Did you
you're
test it
too,
out on
yeah.
friends and things? What did they say?
Oh, well, I talked about it with comedians, the other
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
sociopaths
so
were
they'd be
like,
cool,
this is
right?
amazing. This is hilarious. Like, yeah. I mean, they were saying some insane shit. Yeah, definitely. Like, I will say though, like, even with me, like, I make these insane jokes, uh, but like, I don't think I have a very dark sense of
Okay.
humor. I'm like edgy. I'm not edgy. I like pushing the boundaries. Like I like making people uncomfortable. Like I was always the class clown who was like making over the top sex jokes just to like make people uncomfortable. but I don't think I certainly would never have like written a show about death if this didn't happen, I guess is what I'm saying. But also that like I only made jokes about it with people that I was like
Yeah.
super comfortable with Taylor, my grief counselor, with Ashley, my best friend, with, a few comedians. Um, but like I didn't really like jokes about it. If that, I know this is off
Yeah,
topic and
no,
I'm sort
please
of
do that.
rambling, but
I
when
love a good
people
ramble.
sometimes they'll come and see the show and I talk about it, and of course, like at this point, the show is what it is, and so it's like I've become, people take away
Yeah.
what they take away, and that's art, and that's beautiful, and that's what I want. Um, and I think people think that I'm like really comfortable with like all kinds of jokes, and it's like not really true. I've found sometimes I get really uncomfortable, and I'm like, oh, because girl, I don't know you. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I still need to feel really comfortable, and then I'm so offensive. But I also am really, really sensitive.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I'm just picturing now you pitching this show. I want to do a comedy routine about the death of my husband. I want to call it Sugar Daddy. Like, I want to kind of tackle some of these, like taboos around the relationship. What did people say? Were people kind of engaged and enthusiastic, or were some people a bit like, "Oh, are you sure you want to do this?"
Oh,
No,
I didn't pitch it. I didn't pitch it to
you
nobody.
just
I
did
just
it.
did
Just
it.
went out and did it, and then people
Yeah.
loved it. People hated it.
No, God, no.
Do you have to
Yeah,
have really thick
mostly.
skin as a
I mean,
comedian?
well, yeah,
How do you
yeah.
cope with
I mean,
that?
there's no way around it. But eventually, you just bond so much, it doesn't become world end. It's like have you ever you get rejected or you get. I mean, I'm sure
No,
you've never been
never.
rejected, but like you fail at something, and the first time it's world ending, and then you do it enough times, and you're like, oh, the world isn't ending. And also, it's I think part of the mental illness of comedians is we sort of like it and
Sort of
it drives
masochism
us,
going
and
on. Yeah.
for sure,
Because
for sure.
I'm like you described yourself as quite sensitive. I'm very, very hypersensitive to criticism. I've got ADHD,
Mhm.
rejection sensitivity. So, if I read once a review of the podcast and they were all lovely 5-star reviews, and somebody had put, "It's a shame that the host talks so much. She keeps interrupting her guests." And
Yeah,
I was like devastated, and I'm really then was starting to
yeah.
watch what I said. And I'm making all of these hundreds of amazing reviews and that one slightly, critical one, and I couldn't shake it. And I don't know how you guys get up in front of a live audience and tell jokes that may or may not land with them, and then kind of dust yourself down and get up and do it again. That takes quite a lot of balls.
I was much more nervous for this
Really?
podcast than I have been for most
Because it's
shows.
something that you're not used to
Yeah,
doing.
to me, I'm like, how the heck do you do this? You're like so vulnerable online in public, like there's a record of it, and you're talking about such personal things, and then people can say what
Mm,
and also like take you out of
yeah.
context in whatever way they want. That is so much scarier to me
Yeah, I guess.
than
I
telling jokes in a basement.
Yeah. And I think I just don't think too much about it because I can shield myself from negativity. So, I've got an article coming out in one of our tabloid papers is called The Sun, and they want to talk about my experience of problematic
Mhm.
drinking. And I'm aware that I'm really making myself quite vulnerable. And I've kind of had final sign off on the copy, but I'm just thinking, I don't want it to go out there because of the comments, but actually what I can do is I can just not look at them. Whereas when you're live, of course, you can't just ignore them. You can't just turn away and pretend it isn't happening. So that to me feels much scarier. But I guess that's why we each do the job we do, huh?
Can you tell me about how you shield yourself from negativity?
I just don't look.
Just that does that work?
Well, I mean, I stopped looking at reviews. I don't look at kind of comments on newspaper articles or anything like that because there's always some twat that says something like, I'll tell you an example. Actually, it was a local newspaper. It wasn't a great big paper or anything, and the headline was something about I had to give up hope, about Ben not being found.
Mhm.
And somebody has commented, well, she obviously didn't love him because otherwise she wouldn't have given up hope. And I'm like, what was I meant to do? Like hover around the coast of Dover, hoping
That's
he might resurface at some point for the last 8 years. Y-
and that like so
Yeah,
pisses me off. That's so like mean and
yeah. And
disrespectful.
actually, and then I did that thing that you're really not meant to, where I commented back and I was like, well, I hope this never happens to you. But I couldn't leave it alone. And I think keyboard warriors scare the shit out of me, actually. I probably just need to not look when these things happen. But it's difficult not to because they're criticizing you and they're under, this was a direct criticism of my love for my dead husband. Like, fuck off. I'm going to come back on that one.
Yeah.
Have you experienced any
Yeah.
kind of negativity around the subject topic? Have you had anyone say, this is disrespectful or anything like that? You have.
hmm
How have you dealt with
hmm
that?
hmm I mean, the honestly, the ones I can remember are ones that are like
Yeah.
messages from people, and those are easier to dismiss, especially because I don't know. It's like the ones that hurt are the ones that are
Yeah.
true,
There's a grain of
in the
truth.
kernel
Yeah.
of truth, or like are adjacent to truth. Yeah, yeah. And usually they're just like fundamentally so untrue, or they're from someone that it's so clearly about
Yeah.
them that it's easy to dismiss. Yeah, I mean, I've had like reviews that just like didn't. Uh, I guess I've had reviews that were like disrespectful, but not none that were like ad
Yeah.
homonyms.
And you did also
Ooh,
have a
and this makes
review
me
that said the best new show in New York. So I guess anytime you saw anything negative, you can just I assume, is that framed somewhere in your house, this review? I would have it framed.
I actually always have it with me. It's right here. Just make sure you zoom in on my glasses. It's always in the top corner. I got it lasered
Stop it.
in.
Did you
No,
did you actually, or are you making this up? Oh,
that
you're
would be
making it. Oh,
insane.
don't.
You
I'm
would need to
so
put me in an
gullible. I'm
insane
so gullible.
asylum.
And I was like, oh, that's an amazing
I
idea.
am so glad you believed that and wouldn't have kicked me off the show. That's a red flag, actually.
You can tell me
What?
anything.
Like those Apple glasses where you can like in the top right corner, it has like a little image. I have no idea how they work.
Well,
Do you know what I'm
I'm
talking about?
aware of Apple glasses, but they freak me out if I'm honest.
Yeah, same. I've
No, and
actually
I
never
don't like
worn
the
one, so I
idea
have
that
no idea
people
what you're
can just be
talking
walking
about. But
around with cameras on. I think that's really strange. Yeah.
so strange. Hate that. Makes me super uncomfortable.
So, Sam, I don't think we answered a question. I'm going to ask it again because I want to know. My audience will want to know if you're coming to see your show. What can people expect from it?
It's a ridiculous show. It's a funny show. It's a silly show. It's a gay show. Um, it's about. I think it's about like being bad at grief. And so this is like my grief. This is the way that I grieve, and this is Jonathan. This is how I met Jonathan, and this is how I love Jonathan. And also I have type 1 diabetes. That's a big part of
Yeah,
the
I
show too.
saw.
And so yeah,
And that came about
I
since
mean,
he
I
died,
think
didn't it? You were diagnosed with that.
yeah. I was diagnosed about
And is
6
that
months
something
after
that can be caused by
he passed.
stress, like a physiological response to grief? Wow.
Yes. To yeah, it's the doctors said that it could have been from the grief, actually. A lot of autoimmune diseases, I've learned, can be caused by like trauma or stress that's like is stored in
Yeah.
the body somehow. It could have also been a sickness. It could have been COVID, which I had, obviously at the same time that Jonathan
Oh,
died.
actually, tell me about that. Were
Um,
you sick at the same time he was sick? Oh
mhm.
gosh.
Well, yeah, of
See, I had
course,
it
yeah.
when John had it.
We
Well,
worked
I
the
had
same
nothing.
way.
I didn't even know I had it until one of the symptoms came out, and they suddenly said, "Oh, loss of taste can be a symptom," and that's all I had. But then I've had it since and had it. I mean, not badly like they had it badly, but I've had it. Terrible flu.
Yeah.
I just find it so weird that you can get it so differently. But anyway, that's a different story, really. Um, and how long are you going to be in London for then? Are you setting up camp for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, I'm here till April
How do you
7th.
find being away from home?
Oh, I spend so much time away
Yeah,
from
used
home.
to.
And so I'm always in and out touring. So mostly what I do is I'm a stand-up comedian and I travel around the US and perform around the US. So I'm often in and out of town. But this is different. This is to be away for this long is quite a bit. And so I feel like I'm like doing
Yeah,
study
yeah, yeah.
abroad. It's pretty
And you
cool.
mentioned
I'm living in
and you
Bermondsey.
staying in Bermondsey for the whole time? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You mentioned that you have
yeah,
a new partner. Are you comfortable telling me a little bit about that?
yeah, yeah. Of course. Yeah, I'll just tell the story. One of Jonathan's best friends I became close with, and they had this big Christmas party, and I would go back to it after year. And I actually met Asher at that
Oh,
Christmas
that's
party.
cute.
Which
Yeah,
it,
that's
it is, it
cute.
is. I'm a little. I don't know how people are going to receive that story, but I think it's quite. I don't think that's. I think it's quite
I think it's lovely.
special that I met
And
him.
also, I guess this guy was already part of that social group, so they'd almost kind of
He was
approved.
completely randomly. He was like a more of
Yeah,
a friend that was there. Um, yeah, we both were sort of there, not knowing a lot of people. And yeah, so we met there, and we've done most of it long distance,
yeah,
which is tough. He's in New York. Yeah, we met, and I was like, "Girl, I'm moving to LA. We cannot date. Uh, we can fuck." And he was like, "No problem." And then I had a cruise gig, and I brought him with me on the
cruise
cruise
gig
gig.
sounds amazing.
It's worse than you think. And then we were on a cruise together, and that was that. We were on a cruise, we were on a Royal Caribbean cruise together, surrounded by heterosexuals. And we were like, we cannot leave. We have to have sex for 4 days straight in our room.
Sounds terrible. I don't know how you coped. You
Yeah,
poor
and me
thing.
neither. It was just awful. Just carbs, alcohol,
Oh, that
and
sounds terrible. And
sex.
an
It was
adoring
tough. It was
audience to
tough.
perform for as well. What a trial.
Yeah,
What if I could get a
yeah,
cruise gig? I
yeah,
might fancy one of those. That'd be amazing.
yeah. Well,
Good target audience if I went on like one
let's,
of the older
let's
people one. I'll come with
come with
you.
me. Oh my God, come with me to
I'd like to
Spooky
come
Bear.
to Spooky Bear.
You would be a hit, girl. Truly, you would be a hit, especially with like some of those old queens. They've all lost people
Yeah.
to AIDS, and so they have the darkest sense of humor of
Oh my
anyone.
goodness. Well, if you know anyone that
And
would
so
love
you
to
could
come and
make all
talk
the
to me on the
dark.
podcast as well, that would be amazing. I'd love to have a more diverse range of guests on the podcast.
Do I know old gay men who
Who want
want
to
to
talk
talk
about
about grief?
themselves.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. Yes, yes.
And so
Uh,
obviously your life has changed, beyond all recognition. You've lost the person that you love, but you've kind of dusted yourself down. You've found out a way that you can live with this trauma, that you can hold, because we have to hold it. I think, one of my kind of real cliche sayings is that part of the grief process is accepting there's going to be an element of sadness in you for the rest of your life. But the people that
hmm,
choose to either find a humor in it, to find some joy, traveling, whatever it may be, if you find it in yourself to do the thing that you love in spite of what's happened to you, those are the people that kind of survive it. And maybe survive's the wrong word, maybe thrive is a better word. And do you think that Jonathan, well, no, actually, you tell me, what do you think Jonathan would say if he were able to now?
yeah, whenever I think about what Jonathan would say, I start to get
Yeah.
emotional. Um, but yeah, he was so supportive of me. So he that voice is very strong in my head, and so I'm very
Yeah.
lucky for that. Um, but yeah, I have no idea.
But you think he'd approve?
Yeah, I don't think I like. Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, that's what the
Yeah.
unconditional love is. It's very lucky. You know, you, I don't think I could do much of anything that he wouldn't
It's
approve
funny,
of.
isn't it, how you continue to live by the kind of moral compass and moral code that they had. And I know that in many ways, my grief has made me a kind of more empathetic, kinder person, I guess. And a lot of that is because Ben was a really kind person. He was a bit of a twat at times, but they all are, aren't they? But he was, his core was so good. And he had this, he was very much a family man and it was, prioritized our children. And so, I don't believe in living my life to, somebody else's rules per se, but I do think carrying on
Right.
the good bits, taking the best bits of them and taking them with you, That's really important. And I too, I think, God, he sometimes, if he could, be looking and thinking, what the hell? Like, this was not the woman that, that I married, because so much has happened.
Yeah, that's really yeah. How long ago did
8
Ben pass
years
away?
next month. Yeah, so I've got a book out next
Yeah,
month. It comes out on the 12th, which is the anniversary. And I thought, oh, this is a great day because it will really kind of, symbolic, releasing the book on the day that he died. And as it gets closer, I'm thinking, you absolute knob, why have you done this? Because it's a day that normally I like to pull the duvet over my head. So this year I will put on a party
yeah,
frock, I will go to my book launch, and I will see how it lands. I might be crying in a corner, I might not. And that's the thing with
yeah,
grief, isn't it? You just don't know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so true. Yeah, um, it's so funny, like being because you were what,
I was,
19
yeah,
when
I
he
was a
passed
mere
away
babe,
8 years
yeah.
ago, and that's so young, and now you're I mean, I feel like, I mean, this obviously changes someone so much, but even 8 years of a person they're going to be
Yeah,
a
of
different person.
course, yeah.
Um, and you just change so much. And so that, like, I guess I'm curious, what's it like being like 8 years since you've been able to talk to him and still have that sort of like
Yeah,
relationship with
that's
him,
yeah, look
if
at
that
you
makes sense.
interviewing me. So, I can remember very early on, and you get
I mean, I really feel like I am not good at this, and so like I think I might
you
just
can
be
buy my
asking
book.
you for
That's what you can do.
advice.
You can buy my book. That'll teach you.
I will.
No, I think back
And
then,
sorry, so the launch
the
is what
12th of
date?
March.
The launch is the 12th of March.
There you go. You can have a little look. Look at, and it's shiny. Look, shiny. For anybody that's just listening, I'm
That's a
flaunting my
great
book a lot.
cover.
Um, so to answer your question,
March 12th,
I
everybody.
think early on, people would say to me, "Time is a healer," and I remember thinking, "But it can't be, because the longer this goes on, the longer the gap between me and him grows." And I
Yeah.
think there is still an element of truth to that. It feels like a lifetime, and he's missed so much. We've got 3 children. My daughter was only 6 months when he died, so the first steps, school, all these big milestones. Um, I think I'm just better able to live with it now. I think I'm better able to compartmentalize it. I allow myself to kind of let it out instead of trying to shut it down as well, because then it just kind of erupts out. But I got sober 4 years ago, and that was really tough because I had to kind of re-grieve, because where I thought I'd done a lot of work, where I was drinking, I really hadn't.
Mm,
So that was quite tough, and that took me to some pretty dark places for a while. But, you climb back out again and you dust yourself off, you put your big girl pants on and keep going. No choice.
yeah.
But it does, I think,
It's really interesting, the
yeah,
re-grieving.
that was grim.
It does feel like you have it. I mean, it feels like and maybe you have such a different experience than what I'm talking about, but it does feel like you have to like re-grieve every
Yeah,
once in a while. It does feel like it's like a new kind of grief that you discover. Or, like sometimes it'll just
yeah.
hit you and you're like, oh, this hasn't been as present with me recently.
And then you
And
feel guilty because you haven't been
it's,
thinking about it so much, right? There's yeah,
oh, of course,
yeah,
so much guilt. Oh, so much
yeah.
fucking guilt. Yeah.
And you can
And then you're like, but this feels different than it did last time. Like, what is there? And then you have to like sift through these feelings and be like, am I different? Is the grief different? Is this guilt? Is this like which mind
and
fuck
even
is
some
happening
guilt
now?
around success, right? Because you've got this very successful show around your
Yeah.
grief. I've got a fairly successful podcast. And you are thinking, well, I wouldn't have had this if my person didn't die, but I want to enjoy it. But if I, yeah, it's, you can tie yourself up in knots, actually. And I think the only thing I
Mhm.
can say is, actually, you might have done it because they've died, but you've made something. Oh, what did somebody say to me earlier today? You've built something on the compost of your tragedy, or something like that. It was really good. I loved that. That's not great content because I've just fumbled it completely, but it was good. Trust me. Thanks.
I believe you. I believe you. Don't you just feel that that's like the most ridiculous thing,
What,
though?
the random guilt?
I mean, I just no, no, yeah, the guilt for having like
Yeah.
success. I mean, it's like do you have any idea what this is like and like what happened? Like what? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, yeah, like we're dealing with what was dealt to us and people connected to it. I just like sometimes I'm just like, I don't know how to respond to that. Like, just unless you like, I'm just like, yeah, obviously I can't articulate it.
I just think sometimes, I think sometimes you've just got to accept it. You know, you're going to feel really conflicting emotions. I was sat in the car and I was up for an award, and I was sitting in the car and I was really excited, like really excited. Never had a professional recognition like that. And all I could think about was the person who I want to be sat with me at this award ceremony is never going to sit with me.
Of course.
And I'm only there because I
Of
created a podcast
course.
as they died. And it's impossible not to feel some degree of sadness and guilt and, you know, why do I get all this and they don't? But I also know that they would want it.
I feel that. That is different though. Yeah. Yes, of course. And that voice from Jonathan is like so
Yeah.
helpful. And I feel so lucky to have that. That like when I feel weird about doing the show or whatever, um, I have sort of him like cheering me on in the background. But the success of or the feeling of like, I wish they were
Mm.
here. And like I feel guilt about that. I feel all the time. I feel that with success or like I feel that like every family
Yeah.
holiday that's nice,
Even
it's
Valentine's
like
Day got
I
me.
feel guilty
I don't even
about,
like Valentine's
oh,
Day.
Valentine's Day has never gotten me,
You
not
wait,
once in
took
my
7
life.
years, you wait, it might get you. I was angry with all the paper hearts.
Well, did you care about
No,
Valentine's Day?
which is why it took me by surprise.
No.
I felt really angry.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry
fuck.
about that.
I don't want to care
Yeah,
about that. No,
yeah, I'm sorry.
please.
So, I've got one more question for you. Are you spiritual in any way? You talk about Jonathan's kind of influence on your decision making. Have
Hmm.
you been to see a psychic or anything like that? Have you had any signs?
Fun, fun. I love this question. Uh, I I think that like answer is God. I
Same,
wish I
same.
was. And sometimes I am like but for the most part, I'm like such a
Mm,
cynical old queen. Like I just can't get into it. I think like the spirituality that I have is like very like vague oneness, is like sort of like obviously it's impossible to articulate, but like if God is anything, then it's like a a, a oneness of us
I think
all.
it's a
If that
gross
makes
word, but
sense.
like essence, there's something about the the love and what they leave behind's kind of carrying on. But yeah, like you, I really wanted to see signs. I saw some feathers early on, but I think it might have just been the time of year. And I did go to see a medium not that long ago. And yeah, you know what? She said some stuff that could have been right, but she had my real name. I'm quite Googleable. And I just came away thinking, no, that did nothing to convince me the other way. I know. I might go and see another one. I can't call it research for the podcast, right? Because I think it's something that I can't be cynical about unless I explore it, because it's easy for me to go, no, don't believe it. But I
Right,
figure I've got
right.
to try it, because some people and some really rational, really smart people get something so
Yeah.
powerful from it, and they are describing things to me that they're claiming they couldn't possibly have known, and really intimate information. And sometimes when I'm hearing this, I'm like, oh, maybe it is true then, because how?
But okay, mediums. Tell me about medium, because when you say spirituality, I actually don't think about, and maybe I'm wrong for this, but I don't think about like mediums or
So
psychics
I
or
kind of
anything like
think of
that. I
that as
think of
being,
like,
yes, religion but also believing in that kind of access to the spiritual world, and believing in that there's
hmm,
a kind of what would you call it? Like a crossover, a way of contacting people. That to me is got a part of spirituality, like contacting the
hmm.
spirits, I guess. Um,
Is it attached to any organized religion?
no, I
Mediums
don't think
or
so.
psychics?
No, I
No,
don't think
right?
so.
Yeah.
It really interests me, and it interests me, I think, because of the people I know that believe it. Because if it was all, kaftan wearing, incense burning type people, love them, by the way, but I would think, okay, well, it's just not for me. But these are people that are rational and scientifically minded, and they are saying, I went to see a medium,
Hmm.
and honestly, I'm now convinced. So yeah, it just,
Hmm.
I don't know. I think keep my mind open about most things. But yeah, I've yet to experience it myself. I'd love to. Wouldn't you love to just to have a conversation with them one more time? Wouldn't that be amazing?
I think so, I think the idea would probably
Oh
like
yeah,
freak me out too. But if someone was like genuinely able to connect with Jonathan, I'd be like, how'd
yeah,
you do that? What? Let me talk to him. What are you
yeah.
doing here? Like, if you can connect with Jonathan, like just go get
Yeah,
out of
leave
the
us to
room. Like, you know what I mean?
it.
Like, why are you
Yeah.
involved? Like, let me give me the phone, give me the
Oh, I'd probably
powers.
just go blank
Like,
and not be able to ask any questions at all. But I think perhaps the
yeah,
nature of how Ben died, not being able to say goodbye, the lack of clarity over his death, I think
yeah,
perhaps that is what pulls me to it. And I guess it's wishful thinking, isn't it? Let's be honest, it's wishful thinking.
yeah. I certainly am open to it, and I'm open to like all kinds of spirituality
Yeah.
and religion. I think like science does not explain what's
No.
going on here for the most part. We don't
No,
know a
and you're
lot.
right, we don't know a lot. So, Sam, let's give your show a big final plug. Tell people where they can get tickets, tell people when you're performing. Do you know your dates off the top of your head, or am I going to really throw you now?
No, 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 you're good. I think so. March
I
5th
know the
is
dates if you
when.
don't.
His
Sorry.
voice is.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hello.
Hello, we have the
Spirit
dates.
world.
Yeah, March 5th is when previews start, and then opening is on March 10th, and we run through April 4th. All the times are
And
on
you've
the
got really good
websites,
times as well, I
and
notice. You've
whatnot.
got
But
lots of day ones as well, and quite civilized times for your performances. As somebody who likes to be in bed by 10.
yeah, we have some matinee performances. Oh, please come to the matinee. I would love to have some fun people
I've
at the
booked for
matinees.
7 o'clock on a Friday night.
Just
I've
low
booked
energy.
for an evening. I'm going out, out.
Ooh, fun. Yeah, and it's like every
You're going to be
day
knackered.
except for Mondays. So you have no excuse
No,
not to
I
come.
absolutely will come, and I really hope other people do as well, because I think it sounds like it's going to be exactly the tonic that I need at the moment. So thank you. And it's at the Underbelly Theatre, which is in Soho in London. And you can get
Hmm.
tickets from your website, which is it's Samuel Morrison, isn't it? It's not Sam, so it's
Hmm.
Samuel Morrison, and I don't know the rest of it. Sorry.
www.samuelmorrison.com. And you can check out my Instagram at Samuel H. Morrison. And then also, so if you're not in London, or even if you are in London, I have like a tour alert system. And basically, I'll just text you when I am performing in your city. And I only text when I'm performing in your city. So you'll get at most once per year. And it takes like 11 seconds to sign up. And it is so helpful for me to be able to like keep performing and keep being a stand-up comedian
So,
because
and
it's
it
just,
must show you the
it's just
interest, where
impossible
the
to like
interest is as well, so you can see where there's a demand for you to go. I guess does that help inform your tours? Yeah.
100%. I send it to my agents and I say, I have, you know, a couple hundred people on this list. I think that's enough that we
Let's go.
can find a tiny theater in this town. So if you want me to come to your city, put your number in. And that's it. You just put your phone number and your location
And
and
I've
I'll
got
come
quite a
magically
lot of
appear in
listeners
your
in
city.
America as well, so hopefully they'll hear and register. Well, Sam, thank you so much for coming and talking to me, because you must be
Oh,
exhausted. You've been traveling, you've been rehearsing, and the fact that you took the time to come on here and talk about your story, and probably to do it in a slightly different way than you're used to as well, because I try and poke at the open wound a little bit. It's Yeah, it's been really amazing to meet you. I think that you're incredible human, and I'm very excited to come and see you live doing your thing.
I'm all the same back to you. I think you're incredible. And this has been so great. I love connecting with other people who we've had this crazy experience. And yeah, this has just been such a delight and such a fun, easy conversation. And I had a great
See, I
time. So
told you
thank you
it
for
wasn't
having
going to be
me.
scary. Save that for people I don't like.
Mm, well, I always have appearance number two, so I'll be terrified for that
Oh,
one.
well, you rest up, you take care, and you have the best
Thank you. You
time
too.
performing, because I'm sure that's what you live to perform, right? That's once you're up on that stage.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
so fun.
people who are kind of
Yeah, yeah.
performers by nature, it's just nothing better than being up there and doing your thing.
Oh, it's the best. Yeah.
And give me
Yeah,
a
it's
wave
so
in the
funny.
audience, please.
Where are
I
you going to
think
sit?
I am stalls, but not the very front ones because I was worried about audience participation. So the next bit back.
Yeah. The one
Yeah.
right behind that?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
make sure to add like a joke where I
Or
can
wear
be on
something
the second
sparkly
row.
so you can see me.
Please, please do. I will find you and I will take you to Spooky Bear.
I can't wait. And for anybody that has been listening and has got any questions about today's episode, you can reach out to me at widowed_AF on Instagram or at www.widowedaf.com. I will put all the links to Sam's show and to his social media into the show notes so that you guys can find them really easily. And if you want to go on the 20th of March, I'll be there and I can hang out with you in the hotel. In the hotel. I'm not taking people to a hotel.
Oh,
Freudian
fun. Do I get an invite to
I
the
got 3
hotel?
kids. What do you think I'm
Are you
staying in a
hosting an
hotel?
orgy without me? Dude, I don't know. You tell me. You're just inviting all of your podcast
I
fans
was
to a
in the gay
hotel.
village in Manchester, which is amazing, and like all these crazy drag bars. And I just sat in my hotel because I was so tired, and I just had a takeaway and sad little meal for one.
Wait, when is it?
Yeah.
March 20th? We should
Yeah.
go out. Let's go out to the
We'll find one. We'll find one. Shall I hang around the stage door like a groupie?
Hang around wherever you want. I'll find you. I'll find you in your hotel.
I'm not
What
staying in a
hotel number are you
hotel.
going
I
to
only
be in?
live half an hour away. I'd love to stay. You never know.
said
You
it.
never know. See
No
how my
one
luck plays
believes
out.
you.
Hey, no, I'm kidding. I got small kids. But yes, we're going to carry on, aren't we? This is going to be a whole new podcast episode. I am going to go now, but thank you so much for being here.
I am also going to go now. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
having
for
me.
listening out there. You take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll be back with you very soon. Lots of love. Thank you for listening. If you found this episode helpful, hit follow or subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And if you think someone else may benefit